Schools in the North Country are shifting their focus as COVID-19 cases surge in the region. Although several have been able to keep their doors open due to precautions and safety measures, many are preparing for the potential to pivot to remote learning. Watertown City School District Superintendent Patty LaBarre spoke just before the Thanksgiving holiday as the district prepares to release the remote plan to the community. LaBarre's focus is on a proactive approach.
It's better to be proactive than reactive, and we've had the plan, and at this point it's time, because the numbers are going up, it's time for us to share this with our community that in the event we have to do this, here is the plan, so that everybody understands it, because back in March we didn't have that opportunity.
To date, the Watertown City School District has confirmed several COVID-19 cases both among staff and students, but has been able to remain open due to guidance from Jefferson County Public Health. LaBarre commented on these actions.
When we've had a positive case, it could be a remote-only student who hasn't been in the district, and when we do the contact tracing, it hasn't had to put a lot of people in quarantine. But with that said, we have had a couple of cases where we've had over 40 people in quarantine, and those cases didn't really overlap. So in a small district, when you don't have the personnel to cover, people who are on quarantine, you're forced to close. And if we get a case where we've had a student or staff that have made a lot of contacts with people within the school, and we have a lot of people that have to go into quarantine, or we have a lot of people that test positive, at that point is when we'll have to switch to the remote only plan.
Watertown's remote plan would require all K through 6th graders to attend a full day of school online from home, but teachers would include breaks for exercise, recess, and lunch. 7th through 12th graders would follow their original schedules and attend separate Zooms for each class. BOCES and students in special education classes would also be required to learn from home.
If we do go remote, the next question is going to be from the community, how long are we going to be remote? And that's a question that I can't answer at this time, because it will depend on, what we do, because right now we are not in one of those micro clusters that you've been seeing pop up around the state. There's designated yellow, orange, and red zones. And depending on what zone you're in, also depends on what the school needs to do. So I'll only share with you the yellow zone, because that's the first zone you would go into. If that should happen in our district, we already have a plan in place. And the plan is, when you're in the yellow zone, you have to have 20% of your in-person students and staff tested within a 2-week period. And you have to meet a certain threshold in order to keep the students in school. If you approach the orange or the red zone, then you have to close the school down, go to the remote only plan. So again, New York State has done a great job at laying out each of those zones. And thankfully, we're not in any of them yet. But we are going to be North Country strong, and we're going to be very thankful to have opportunities to do things with our immediate families. And we're going to think outside of the box and come up with some creative ways to have some family fun and maybe pay some things forward to our neighbors. And then we're going to start 2021 off in a much better place than where we're at today.
Superintendent LaBarre shared her pride in the students for their participation in all safety precautions, as well as the staff and faculty continuing to connect with parents at home. Although there is no true threshold for the district to close their doors, LaBarre shared that at any given time they could be required to shift to remote learning. For ABC 50 Now, I'm Isabella Colello.